Welcome to the press conference for Game 2 of Session 1. Number 6, Texas defeats Virginia Tech 81-73. Texas will face third seed Purdue on Sunday. A reminder to media members, please announce your name and affiliation. If you're calling in on Zoom, raise your hand and we will answer you on Zoom. Also, please refrain from shooting video during this presser. Still shots are fine. We can move Chris Beard over. Coach Chris Beard is joining us. He is now 5-0 in the first round of the NCAA tournament in his career. Coach Beard, do you have an opening statement for us?
Yeah, it's definitely not about me. It's Josh Hagans, Keenan Evans, Andrew Jones, Courtney Ramey. These are the guys that have had some success in the tournament. So, first of all, from everybody in our organization, we congratulate Virginia Tech on a great season, a great run in their conference tournament. We had so much respect for them. We basically set it up for our guys as we got to go beat one of the best teams in the country in the first round. So this will be a confidence builder as the tournament goes on, because I do think we just beat one of the best teams in the tournament, which we'll have to go through several teams like this. But today was about us. I thought to hold that team to 4 made three-point shots was really where our defense was on point. And then offensively, when we can get the 5 guys to double figures scoring, I think we can play with anybody in the country. Super proud of our players. We had some guys that never played in the tournament, never won a game in the tournament, so definitely a happy locker room. We'll enjoy this for a few hours and get back to work.
We'll take questions for the student athletes starting here.
Yeah, Brian Davis, Austin American Statesman. Marcus, Coach always talks about, finishing the first half strong. And I don't know there's a better way to finish it, but what did that shot do? And what kind of momentum do you think that gave you guys psychologically, if nothing else?
Yeah, it was, kind of a momentum play, being able to hit that shot going into the half. Me and Coach kind of locked eyes. He told me 2 dribbles. We always count the dribbles whenever, there's a certain amount of time left. And, I let it go with confidence. That's a shot, I'm not going to lie. I do practice a lot. Anybody who knows me knows I shoot that shot a lot. So I wasn't really surprised when it went in. I'm happy it did. It gave us the lead going into half, and we were able to build off that.
Right here.
Steve McGarvey, Associated Press. For Marcus, how often do you practice that shot? And just what was the attitude like in the locker room coming in after that?
Most days I don't leave the gym until I hit a half-court shot. So sometimes it takes me 1 rep, sometimes it takes me 11, however many it takes, But the guys were just happy that I hit that shot. Like I said, we just use it as momentum going into the second half.
Right here.
Mark Berman of the Roanoke Times. For whoever wants to answer, you guys shot over 60% from the field in the second half. What got that offense clicking, especially in the when you made that big run to go from a 1-point lead to a 16-point lead?
We'll start this way with Courtney, Andrew, Marcus, and then Timmy, please.
I think the biggest thing that we did in the second half was move the ball and create shots for everyone. I think Marcus and Timmy had great chemistry in the second half of Marcus driving and getting Timmy shots. And then I think Andrew was aggressive the whole game, and it kind of triggered to me being more aggressive in the second half.
We did a good job of taking care of the ball. Coach thrives on, taking care of the ball. That's the best way we're going to survive and advance and get shots up. So as long as we move the ball has energy. And as long as the ball pop around and everybody gets touches, it's a good offense for us.
Yeah, I think we did a better job of, locking in and guarding it in the second half as well. We always know whenever we're able to either turn the other team over or get rebounds and run, that's to our advantage, and we really tried to do that. And then, like these guys were saying, we were just moving the ball, popping it around, and, when we play like that, we're hard to guard.
Like Marcus said, when we get stops, it creates great offense for us, and then just moving the ball and finding each other for open shots. And Drew carried us in the first half, so big shout out to him for that. He was lighting it up, so that's what got us through.
Cedric Golden, Austin American Statesman, for all the guys. Starting with Courtney, all the talk leading in was Virginia Tech shooting a lot of threes and making a lot of threes, lights out. You guys not only held them to 4 made, but only 12 attempts. What did that say about your closeout defense and the intensity that you showed on that end?
I think it showed that we were locked in on the game plan, and then when we're locked in, we can be hard to beat. And that was one of our biggest keys, was to limit their threes. And they're a great team. They had some good looks, and we were fortunate to win.
We'll stay here on my right.
Jeff Howe, Horns 24/7. Andrew, you had a couple opportunities there on the press break late in the second half to get a run-out dunk, and you finally got one. How bad did you want it right there? And then go back to the first half. What were you seeing? How were you feeling there? Because it looked like you had, you were keeping your team in the game, making some big shots in the first half.
The dunk felt great, but that's not why I was leaking out. I knew I was drawing a lot of attention in the second half, and I wanted to give Courtney, Marcus, and Timmy space so that I didn't crowd their playmaking ability. And, I just took the open shots that they gave me. My preparation finally showed. My guys were hitting me in my spots. We understood the game plan, and credit goes to them for, finding me in my open spots.
Marcus, Bob Ballou, CBS Austin Sports. I know Andrew just touched on this, but 9 assists, 1 turnover tonight, and the turnover was super late. Can you just touch on how important and critical that was? And also, were the shoes new, or have you worn those this year? Where'd you get them?
Yeah, I've always tried to pride myself on being a guy who, can take care of the ball. These guys definitely made it easy on me tonight. Drew, Courtney, Timmy, CB, Dylan just rolling to the basket, finding the open spaces for shots. The coaches did a great job of the scout and game planning for us, so we knew, where our offense would be able to come. And I just had to listen to them and let the game come to me. And these guys did a great job knocking down the shots. And these shoes, I believe I wore them before, one game before, but yeah.
2 more.
I wanted to ask Timmy. Timmy, Brock got 2 big offensive boards to get it going that leads to the Jace 3 that gets your scoring going. What about Brock today, and what about Dylan, a guy who gave you pretty solid minutes? Neither one of these guys have big stat lines, but they were out there doing their thing and helping you guys.
Yeah, they're big for us. I mean, Brock comes in every game and he just impacts what he's able to do, and not a lot of people in the country can do or are willing to do. He does all the things that go over people's head in the stat sheet. And Dylan comes in with great energy, and he changes shots at the rim, and he finishes down there for us. So those 2 are a big spark off the bench for us. I know when Brock comes in for me, not much is getting left out on the floor because he's in there doing his thing. So those 2 are big for us.
Last question from the studio.
Yeah, Nick Moyle with the San Antonio Express News. Courtney, over the last 3 games coming into this, Coach Beard has talked a lot about winning time, playing with toughness, making the right plays down the stretch. I know it got a little bit dicey there, but y'all closed the game out. What was different?
I think we wanted to win bad. All 11 guys wanted to win so bad, and then I think it finally showed today. Our preparation kicked in, and then our experience, we were older, I think it kicked in today, and we knew it was an important time in the game, and we wanted to finish the game.
Okay, guys, thank you.
Thank you.
Questions for Coach Beard?
Yeah, take that.
Hey, Chris, Cedric Golden, Austin American Statesman. You just got here, but this is a humongous win for the program itself. How big can it be moving forward? Because getting that first win, there's only one time you can get that, and now things can maybe settle down and get rolling.
Yeah, I understand the question, but today was all about the players. Just so happy for our guys that had never won a game in a tournament, never been in the tournament. This whole deal is about our players. I think after the season will be a chance to reflect, but we're in this tournament to win 6 games. I've always thought the toughest game's the first one, so obviously we got a day to prepare, then we got to play against another one of the best teams in the country.
Right here to Adam.
Hey, Chris, Adam Rittenberg with ESPN. Just wondering how important the end of the first half is and how much you stress it, because I've been back and forth. He hits a big shot, and then you guys seem to take more control in the second half.
Yeah, we did a good job coming out of a timeout and getting the last shot. There was a differential between the shot clock and the game clock, so we talked, this is the shot we need, and then we got to get a stop. Then we made I don't know if we made the bad play or if their guard made a great play, kind of backing up into our guy. So we basically just traded baskets there. So we were a little frustrated with that. We look up there, we got the 1 dribble per second rule. Shout out to Coach Fran. So that's the deal. So Marcus and I, we had a plan. Whoever threw the ball in, probably Timmy, led him really well. He's able to take 2 dribbles and get a pretty high percentage shot. You know, it's not a 50% shot, but for Marcus, that might be a 20% shot. You know, he can make 1 out of 5 from that area. So, yeah, I thought the end of the first half is always a critical time for any team.
Chris, Bob Ballou, CBS Austin. In the first half, Andrew had 6 field goals and the rest of the team had 5. How important was it in the second half to get a lot of those other guys going? And then just on Marcus with the 9 assists and 1 turnover, how critical was that too?
Yeah, I wish Andrew would have gotten 12 shots in the first half. You know, it's kind of a balance. You guys know how our team's set up today. You know, you get the 5 guys and double-figure scoring and got some production off our bench. But certainly early, Drew was carrying us. Marcus had an outstanding, 9 assists, 1 turnover game. And, yeah, that's how these NCAA tournament games work. Very rarely are you going to see something like Timmy's brother did last night. You know, those are far and few between. Like, you got to have some balance in this tournament to win. You know, Coach Young does a great job. He obviously made a couple of adjustments on Andrew, and our guys did a great job feeding off of that. Some of our shots we got in the second half were because they were so focused on Jones.
To my left.
Hey, Chris. David Cunningham, Tech sideline. Courtney mentioned how important and the big key running Tech off the three-point line was doing that. How much did that affect and help the rest of your defense, limiting them and making them kind of drive inside, and then, you know, you guys kind of stuffed them in there?
Yeah, Virginia Tech set up so well offensively. You know, they can definitely beat you inside with their forwards. And then they got obviously great three-point shooting. So, you know, our game plan was about 3-layered today. And the first was to try to have a good day against the 3. And fortunate for us, you know, that's where the game was played by us. But, you know, there'll also come a time where you got to take away that inside scoring. So I think typical NCAA tournament game, you know, both teams got some key guys with the 2 fouls early. And then both teams were playing a little bit off a rhythm early. So we felt fortunate at halftime to be where we were, no doubt about it.
Chris, Brian Davis, Austin American Statesman. In a lot of ways, are days like today why you grind on these guys in November, in December, in January, and February, even all the way up to the Big 12 tournament, about competitiveness? It's to get to moments like this and close out in March.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the definition of a coach, simply stated, is to put his guys in a position to win. And when you're coaching and playing at this level, you got to be really disciplined and tough, and you got to pay the price to win. You know, I think today's game was not won just by the 40 minutes we played, but we had a great week of preparation. You know, we've been playing pretty good basketball. The Big 12 speaks for itself this year, and everybody kind of wanted to talk about how we kind of limped into the tournament, but I did not consider it that way. You know, Allen Fieldhouse on senior night, where they haven't lost ever, it seems like, you know, we're right there. And, you know, Baylor's a pretty good team, if you guys haven't noticed. So we played some good basketball down the stretch. We never defined the way we're playing by the scoreboard. So we felt like we come in playing pretty good, and I know Virginia Tech was. So I thought it was 2 good teams today. We were fortunate. We got that balance, offensive scoring, low turnover game, out-rebounded them, forced a few more turnovers than they like to have. Not as much as we like to force. I think it was, 13? We wanted to try to get to the 15, 16 mark, but they're so good at taking care of the ball. But there were some different ways that we won the game today, no doubt.
Last question right here.
Coach, Rocket Haverland, the Purdue exponent. First ever NCAA win was against Purdue when you were coaching for Arkansas Little Rock. You mentioned in the post game that, or after the game, that Matt Painter is your friend. Do you just want to expand on one of those topics?
Yeah, the Little Rock Purdue was obviously a game that we, us and that group, those players, we still connected, team text, and we see those guys. And Josh Hagens is still a pro, and Mo Isom lives in Austin now. So never get tired talking about that team. It was special. In terms of my friendship with Coach Painter, so many stories. But one time when I was in between jobs, I got a call from Coach Painter, and he kind of led me to the way to coaching the ABA. So I don't know if that was a blessing or a curse, but that's what I did. So people ask me all the time how I ended up in South Carolina coaching the ABA Warriors. Matt Painter can tell you that story. But Matt's a guy I've always looked up to. He's known for how hard his teams play. He's a first-class guy. He's a coach's guy. And so we'll have to play our best game of the year to beat a Purdue team that I think, you know, is picked by many to make the Final Four. But I believe we can play with them, and I believe we can beat them in a 40-minute game. We're just going to go have to play our best. We'll have to play our best game of the season to beat Purdue, and so that'll be our objective.
All right, Chris, thank you for your time.